Mr. Solom, your case number is 1A 416328. Can I get your current mailing address?
Which one did I give you guys? 5414 South Warner, Tacoma, Washington, 98409.
All right, so let's see what happened here. I think you've got some outstanding cases in other jurisdictions because they were similar in nature to ours. We sent out a notice to have you come in.
Correct.
Let's see, it looks like you were in court on November 1st. We reset
To the 28th, and I got picked up.
Yeah, we continued at 30 days for resolution of your other cases. And then on the 30th, we issued a warrant because we couldn't figure out where you were. And then now you're in custody and held by more than just us, it looks like. Is the city appearing on this?
No, Your Honor, I'll defer to the court.
Good morning, Mr. Guilfoyle. What would you like me to know?
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Solom about his situation. He will stipulate to a violation of conditions of sentence insofar as he has at least one new conviction since resolving the case in Fife and several pending matters. We're asking the court to find him in violation, but release him from his Fife hold so he can deal with more serious charges in other courts.
Right, so Mr. Solom, it looks like you've got new charges in Burien that are unresolved at this point, and that's how our warrant got served. And then you've got a hold out of King County Superior Court, a warrant in Pierce County Superior Court, four warrants in Pierce County. All right, so do you know when your next court date is in Burien?
It's today, sir.
Oh, it's today? Okay.
Yeah, it's like 9 or 10 today.
Yeah, 10:30 it says. So, all right, you'll be back on the video at 10:30. And as far as I can tell, you've been in custody since that date on the 8th, right?
Correct.
All right, hold on. I've got to fill out this order on review now. So I'll indicate that you were here today with your attorney, that got new criminal law violations. All right, so I'm going to give you credit for these last 5 days, find you in violation for the convictions that have resolved since the last, actually none of the cases have resolved, but find you and give you credit for these last 5 days, release you. You'll still be held by King County District Court, King County Superior Court, and then potentially Pierce County Superior Court. Do you have any questions, Mr. Solon?
I do not, sir.
All right, so we'll send this court order to SCORE, releasing you on our hold, and then you'll be back in the room at 10:30, it looks like.
Right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. So I see today was Larkin's first day of full duty, and he didn't come today. At least his car wasn't out there when I pulled in. So it looks like private counsel is still in the breakout room with the other individual. So we'll wait to see which of the other three they give us.
Yep.
Name?
John Hellman.
Mr. Hellman, your case numbers are XZ. Looks like 121252 and 1A249049. Can I get your current mailing address?
Same as on my driver's license.
So the ones, and you get mail at that address on Pioneer?
Yes.
All right, so we recognized back in June that you had new charges at a King County District Court in Auburn, and those are convictions at this point. That would be a violation of law-abiding behavior condition here. We mailed out a notice for a July 6th review hearing. That notice did not come back, but we didn't get to see you either. So the warrants got served when you were taken into custody here a couple days ago. So is the city appearing on this one?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Guilfoyle.
Your Honor, Mr. Hellman will stipulate to being in violation of conditions of sentence based on new charges and at least one conviction. He says he's been in custody now about 2 days, and he's hoping the court will find that a sufficient penalty.
Right, so he got booked on the 11th. He got PR'd by Auburn, and it looks like now resolved. Anything else, Mr. Hellman, you want me to consider?
No, sir.
But I noticed that you have a warrant in Pierce County Superior Court and a warrant in Shelton still. So I will release you today after these last 2 days, but I'm going to set a hearing in roughly 30 days. If you've got your Pierce County case squared away and the warrant's no longer outstanding, you don't have to show up here in our court on February 15th.
Okay.
Is there anything you have to do for Auburn once you're released?
I have a review thing. I gotta go back to back up and I gotta call probation here within 10 days.
Okay. Okay, give me a second. I'm still filling out this court order since there's several charges I have to reference. Right, so we're going to send this order to SCORE. Make sure you have it when you're released because it's the only notice you're going to get to have that warrant cleared or show up on February 15th.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You can send a chat to him and ask him to if he's ready to let you know, or just exit the room. Your name, sir?
Stephen Connell?
Right, Mr. Connell, you've got case numbers XZ 389519, 1A 335118, and 9. These are allegations made against you here in the city of Fife. They date back to January 22nd of 2021 and March 8th of 2020. The 2020 case is a compliance review. The allegations from January of 2021 were an arraignment. Looks like prosecutor filed charges in March of 2021. We mailed a notice to the address we had for you. It didn't come back, but you didn't appear at your arraignment either. So we issued warrants that were ultimately served here yesterday or a couple days ago. So, Mr. Guilfoyle?
Your Honor, hold on, Mr. Connell. Your Honor, Mr. Connell is entering pleas of not guilty on each of the new charges that are here for arraignment. He wanted the court to know that the reason he missed the arraignment hearing was he was being held by DOC, and he was just released from DOC about 3 months ago.
And then how did he end up back on these warrants?
He was contacted on suspicion of a criminal law violation, and when they ran his name, this warrant surfaced.
All right, so on the new allegations, we'll accept and enter your not guilty response, Mr. Connell. Now we need to establish conditions of release and schedule a pretrial hearing. The prosecutor, as you know, represents the city. You may choose to represent yourself. You may wish to hire an attorney. If you want to apply to see if you're eligible, and you may be based on your current time not being able to work for the continued service of Mr. Guilfoyle, but we'll provide you with that information. You have any questions about any of that, Mr. Connell?
No.
All right. I see that you're also held by Federal Way. Does the city have a request?
Yes, Your Honor, as the court is aware, or may not be aware, on our XZ case, the violation case, he pled guilty to that charge back in March of 21, and then that was for reckless driving and operating a motor vehicle without ignition interlock. 9 days later, he was arrested for attempting to elude a pursuing police vehicle and taking a motor vehicle without permission. I just mentioned that because I think that's telling of, I guess, the behavior of Mr. Connell. In addition, he has FTAs in 18 cases. As the court has mentioned, he has a felony bench warrant at a King County Superior Court, Tacoma, and Puyallup. Our particular case, in this 1A case, while being questioned by police, the allegations are that he was in handcuffs and attempted to flee. Based on all of this information, the city is asking the court to keep bail as he imposed at $5,000 cash or bond on each charge.
All right, Mr. Guilfoyle?
Your Honor, Mr. Connell tells me he has no money to post bail.
All right, so I see there's a King County Superior Court warrant still outstanding. There is the Puyallup warrant still outstanding. Mr. Connell, do you know when your next Federal Way court date is supposed to be?
Next Thursday?
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Next Thursday?
Okay, because they haven't docketed that, so. All right. Well, these all listed. And on that, so the case that was referenced in Pierce County Superior Court from March of 2021, is that the one you were in custody on when you missed our hearing? Or do you know? The hit and run or the attempting to elude?
Yeah.
And how many months did you serve for that?
I did 18 months in prison.
Okay. Did your companion call in sick today?
All I know is, I was asked if me and Larkins were both here today, and my response was, well, I'm here.
All right, so let's see.
Doesn't make sense.
Because you probably filled it in before you reset it. But the other one's not holding them in score anyway, right? Not for today anyway. All right, Mr. Connell, well, because you've got this hold from Federal Way, so the way I can attempt to, if I don't place a hold on you, I can't see you while you're in custody. So I'm going to set bail on each case number, $500 cash or bond. So that's a total of $1,500 cash or bond. If you're out of custody, we'll have these pretrial and compliance reviews on February 14th here in Fife. I just have to make sure I've got all these different boxes checked. So I take that back. I'm putting bail on the two pretrial case numbers, $500 cash or bond each. The compliance reviews will run with the other cases. And if still, if for some reason you're still in custody on the 24th, we'll have you brought out and have an in-person pretrial hearing on that day. Any questions, Mr. Connell?
No.
All right, so this court order is going to be sent to SCORE. Make sure you have a copy of it if you're released, so you know when you need to be back here.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So it looks like, Mr. Yarnello, is your matter ready to proceed?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes, it's ready to proceed. I'm here for Mr. Hoffman.
And are you Mr. Hoffman, sir?
I am, Your Honor.
All right. right, this is case number 3A 145742. Your current mailing address, Mr. Hoffman?
102 Fifth Avenue, apartment 4-302, Milton, Washington, 98. I forget the zip code, Your Honor, but it's Milton,
Right.
Washington,
Thank you.
98354.
You're James Michael Hoffman II, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, these are allegations made against you in the city of Fife late on January 11th. For today's purposes, I've established probable cause to proceed. So Mr. Urinell, how would your client like to proceed?
We are ready to proceed to arraignment. We can stipulate probable cause for this hearing. We're ready to proceed with the plea of not guilty.
All right, thank you. So Mr. Hoffman, I'll accept and enter your not guilty response to these allegations. Today, I need to establish conditions of release and schedule a pretrial hearing. You're represented, so your attorney will be with you at those hearings. I note from your driving abstract that there's a similar allegation in Tennessee from 2021. Washington law requires that we have an increased, or I guess a higher set of restrictions on release. So does the city have a request?
I do, Your Honor, and I also wanted to make a record. This morning, when Mr. Urinella was speaking to his client, according to the clerk, they didn't indicate that they wanted to move out into a breakout room. So I was on video. I muted myself, and I also muted my video with them. But the minute they started talking, I muted my computer. So I did not hear any of the conversation between the attorney and his client. So I wanted to let you know that. I didn't hear a word of what you said. But with regards to this particular case and conditions of release, as the court has already stated, the defendant has a DUI conviction out of Tennessee from July of 2021. The facts of this case are particularly concerning. The allegations are that the defendant crossed the lane of travel and hit another vehicle head on. The victims in the other vehicle did sustain injuries, and it appeared to them that maybe Mr. Hoffman had fallen asleep. Again, those are only allegations, but I think we're lucky that no one was killed in this incident and that Mr. Hoffman is not facing vehicular homicide charges this morning. But I'm not sure exactly his ties to the community. I do understand now that he's hired a lawyer, but I know that he was from Tennessee, and the seriousness of these charges. The city believes that bail is appropriate to assure his presence at any future court date, in addition to other standard conditions, including the monitoring device. There are allegations that not only did Mr. Hoffman smell, the officers smelled the odor of intoxicants, but he did also indicate to them that he was on several medications for depression and PTSD and other things. So I don't know if when the court's ordering the monitoring device, whether the court can also consider ordering some kind of the patch along with this gram. That would seem to be appropriate under the circumstances.
All right, Mr. Yarnella.
And I appreciate you, Ms. Farina, stating that you didn't hear any of the conversation. I don't think we spoke about anything extremely pertinent for the few moments that we were outside the breakout room, but then we later joined the breakout room. Regarding the conditions of release, we do object to bail, and we object to the non-standard conditions of release, except for an ignition interlock device, if the court would allow that instead as one of the heightened conditions, other than rather than the scram monitoring. And my client is not a flight risk. He's actually an officer in the military. He's going through a medical discharge right now related to the duties and PTSD that he's faced that's directly related to his service there. I do sincerely believe that this incident, as well as the 2021 DUI incident in Tennessee, is directly related to the issues that he's going through related to his medical discharge and the PTSD. He is actually been in active treatment within the military. He's considered a patient right now while his medical discharge is going through. He's on PTO. He does have to report regularly to his squad leader for that. And so my client would have absolutely no reason to not go back to court because his medical benefits are very important to him. He's actually served for over 28 years before now, which is going to be his early retirement. So he just has no reason to not follow the court's orders. He had no problem missing court on his prior DUI in Tennessee. When he gets out of here today, he'll reconnect with his counsel there to take care of the issues that he has in Tennessee. My client will follow all the court orders. He will install ignition airlock if so ordered by the court right away. He's very proactive with everything. And like I said, he is in treatment. It's unfortunate that he was involved in another DUI incident here in Fife. So, I mean, and for what it's worth, I did read the PC statement. There were stated injuries. It doesn't state to what extent or severity. I feel like if it were more extensive injuries, we wouldn't be here in Fife Municipal. This would be a felony with like a vehicular assault. So it's never good to get involved in accidents. It's very bad that he has allegedly hurt other people, but he's going to make his good on this case, and I wish him luck on the recovery. So we just asked to not impose bail. We asked for ignition airlock instead of scram or any other stringent monitoring conditions. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr.
You're right.
Rinaldi, do you know if your client, go ahead, Ms. Farina.
I was just gonna say, I don't think he has a license right now. Was he not suspended out of Tennessee for the DUI?
When I checked out his ADR here in Washington, I spoke to my client about it. He was convicted of that Tennessee DUI, and he's done everything that he knows to do, which was go get ignition airlock, get their equivalent of SR-22 and pay a reinstatement fee. He was surprised to find out after his arrest here that it's showing revoked, but it sounds like it's revoked but eligible. So what he needs to do is just get out of here, contact his counsel. It sounds like it's probably some paperwork missing. I did explain to him sometimes the snafu is when he goes and gets his evaluation, the treatment agency doesn't submit that eval to DOL, and so then DOL still has a hold. I think he's a high risk for that being a mistake because he's getting treatment through the military. He's in a different state, so these treatment agencies they may not even know to contact the DOL there in Tennessee. But that's my best guess. I do a lot of DUI, so I have a feeling for where the snafus are with DOL.
Well, it indicates on his abstract that he had a Washington license issued on August 31st of 2021, and that has since been canceled. He provided the officers with his Tennessee driver's license at the stop, and that came back suspended. Does your client have any training exercises that he's scheduled to attend?
He's not doing training exercises because he's considered a patient right now while on a medical leave, but he has to report and check in regularly. You'd
Is his
have to consult with him exactly what that entails when he reports, but I don't feel he's doing any strenuous physical activity right now.
Do you know if he has any transfer orders?
He's wagging his head.
No, Your Honor, no transfer orders. My only requirement for reporting on base is any medical doctor appointments at Madigan Army Health Center. So there's no requirement for me to do active duty training as per se, like a normal soldier. But my job right now is to continue to go to doctor's appointments while I'm on medical leave status. And that just means I'm not staying at home on leave status, but away from active duty Army just to focus on my doctor's appointments, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
And to further answer, Your Honor, is when I get out of the Army, I will be out of the Army and retired here in Pierce County, where I intend to retire. And I've already found work. I'm just waiting on getting out of the Army.
And you know what that timeline is?
Unfortunately not, Your Honor, because that's up at the Pentagon and at Human Resources Command. And as you well know, they're backed up like everyone else, Your Honor.
All right, well, you've hired counsel. So I'll release you on the conditions that you only operate vehicles equipped with an ignition airlock device. You're not to, you need to maintain law-abiding behavior. Do not drive unless you have a valid license and proof of insurance. Do not drive if a test of your breath or blood within 2 hours of driving would result in a positive reading for alcohol or drugs. No alcohol-related infractions, no moving traffic violations. Do not refuse to submit to a test of your breath or blood if a police officer believes you're under the influence and asks you to perform that type of a test. Do not use or possess alcohol, non-prescribed drugs, cannabis, or drug paraphernalia. You need to notify the court within 5 days of any address change. Your next court date is going to be February 14th at 8:30 in the morning, because we have Mr. Yarinella. The address to the court will be on the document you received from SCORE, but you also can you'll need to contact Mr. Yarinella and he can tell you where to meet him. Do you have any questions, Mr. Hoffman?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions, Mr. Yarinella?
No, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Farina.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Hoffman, you're free to go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you to the court.
All right, I'll be signing out. Have a good day.
Thank you. That brings us to case number 3A 68749. Are you Jennifer Hewitt?
Yes, Your Honor.
May I have your current mailing address?
It's 10114 North Calhoun Avenue, Portland, Oregon 97203.
All right, well, there's allegations made against you here while you're in the city of Fife. They're from yesterday, January the 12th. For today's purposes, I have established probable cause to proceed. So you've had a chance to speak with Mr. Guilfoyle about these allegations, and I'll ask him, is he still, Mr. Guilfoyle?
No,
are you ready?
Yes, I'm here, Your Honor. I don't know how I turned my camera off somehow. Yes, I did speak with Ms. Hewitt, and we're entering a plea of not guilty, and she's asking for continued release on her promise to come back to court.
All right, Ms. Hewitt will accept and enter your not guilty response. I need to establish now conditions of release and schedule a pretrial hearing. At the pretrial hearing, the city will be represented by its prosecutor, Ms. Farina, and you may represent yourself. You may choose to hire an attorney. If you want to apply to see if you're eligible for the continued services of Mr. Guilfoyle and his team, will provide you with that information. Do you have any questions about that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, does the city have a request?
Yes, Your Honor. Standard conditions, it appears, and I know that Ms. Hewitt's from Oregon and her and the alleged victim are here on business. So I certainly, while I'm concerned about that, I would just certainly, I'm not asking for bail this morning. I am asking also for a no hostile contact with the alleged victim, Miles Levy. And again, there was alcohol, allegations of alcohol involved. So I'm asking also for no alcohol related offenses, no possession of a firearm, no possession or consumption of alcohol or non-prescribed drugs, and other standard conditions. I don't know if her plans are to stay in Washington for a little bit, or how long they're actually in Washington versus when they are going back to Oregon.
All right, thank you. Mr. Guilfoyle?
Your Honor, I spoke to Ms. Hewitt. She says she is working here in this area. She just got a new job that pays fairly well. So her plan is to remain here in Washington.
So where do you plan to stay, Ms. Hewitt?
I'm not sure. I was staying in an Airbnb or an extended stay before this happened, and I was going home on my off days in Portland. So the plan will probably just find another hotel or Airbnb to stay for the meanwhile.
All right, well, I'll release you from custody on the following conditions. You need to maintain law-abiding behavior, no hostile contact with the victim, no alcohol-related violations, do not possess or own any firearms, do not use or possess alcohol, non-prescription drugs, cannabis, or drug paraphernalia. Apply for the services of the public defender if you so choose. Notify the court within 5 days of any address change. Your next court date is going to be February 14th at 9:30 in the morning in Fife. The address will be on the document that we send to SCORE, and you just need to make sure you have it when you're released. Do you have any questions?
When you say, Your Honor, when you say no hostile contact, do you mean like no contact at all, or?
Nothing that's going to draw the ire of the police.
So I can still contact him if I need to pick up my things or ask him anything?
Yes, you may, but no arguing, no fighting, no kicking or screaming or any of those things. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right, well, this notice that we send to the jail is going to be the only notice you get of the day and time to come back. And if we don't see you, then I will be issuing a warrant for your arrest. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your
That
Honor.
concludes our morning session.
Thank you, Your Honor.